the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Very soon we'll be going over to Agbagba Live, who is standing by live at the premises of the PURC. Right now, they will have leaders of the union right here in the studio with me. I have here with me Pamela Brown. She is Union Secretary for the PURC. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Also here with me is the Union Chairman Alhaji Jabaru Abukari. Right? You're welcome as well.
Thank you.
What response have you had so far? Your story has been running since morning on all of our platforms, and I'm sure on other platforms as well. What response has come in so far?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I would like to say that the media has been very helpful, and we've had calls from various individuals trying to calm us down and promise us that we'll hear some things from them. But today, the signal was sent clear, and that the commissioners who were supposed to come and meet and take a decision that staff were not happy with, the meeting couldn't come on. It was just one unfortunate commissioner who came, and I was not even happy the way staff reacted. Because
which is what I was going to come to in my next question. That even if you have grievances, that is obviously not an appropriate way to vent, your anger, is it?
I think sometimes we have to also take into cognizance that people who have emotions. When you have a group and you come and you are a leader that they are protesting against, you have to first of all associate yourself with them. And that he didn't do that. He was trying to be confrontational with one of the guys, trying to even snatch his phone.
That really? You mean in that video that we played? Because in that video we see him seated in his car and he wasn't doing anything untoward.
It was prior to the reactions. When he came in, I think they welcomed him and they referred even the journalists who were available to one of our board members is even here. You can talk to them to ask them why we are outside. And I think he even threatened some of the journalists and told them that if they record him without his permission, he was going to sue them. After that, I think one of the directors, Director Water, Mr. Emmanuel Fiati, pulled him aside to talk to him, to brief him what has actually happened. Then he saw one gentleman who was holding his phone. I don't know, because I have not verified from him whether he was actually videoing him or taking pictures, or he was just playing with his phone. He rushed to him and wanted to take his phone, and that was where the whole issue started. So
that was how you were there, Ms. Brown, Mrs. Is it Mrs. or Miss? Miss Brown, you were there. We've just seen you, and I'm sure it's very interesting to see yourself in the video like that. But at the point that you hooted at him and then he leaves, was that when he had tried to seize the phone? I mean, what happened in that particular instance?
No, when he came in earlier, and then as my chairman said, we tried to welcome him. Israel Amenfia tried to welcome him for him to at least know what is on the ground, that the atmosphere is not really convenient. Right. So, boss, you have to leave. And then he refused to go. So he got down, one of our directors, Mr. Fiati, he got down to speak to him, tried to let him leave the scene, but he refused. So he was standing right there at the corner, and then he sees one of our members is taking a picture or whatsoever. Meanwhile, one of my bosses was not doing that. So he came to him that he should give his phone to him to see whatever he took.
And he prevented.
And then he prevented
him taking his phone.
Exactly. And then he threatened that he's going to slap him if he doesn't, give the phone.
I see.
Yeah.
So this was the reason why you hooted at him and sent him driving away.
Yes.
This is a board member, obviously, and this situation is not yet over. Do you think that the best way to have dealt with it was to be antagonistic, so that even if he was being, threatening and doing whatever it is, don't you think that calm heads from your side would have helped solve the problem, so that all of you can start, working and life will be normal?
We know it's not really a good thing. I mean, looking at his age, for us to even hoot at him or treat him the way we did. But this thing had been going on. I mean, it has gotten to the brim now that we can't help it no more. And one of our members stopped him that he should leave the scene because we were all agitated. And if that happens and you don't leave, I mean, what do you expect from the members or the staff. Basically, this is what is going to happen to you.
Okay. I'd like to find out what the way forward is. Right now, you're not working. The Ghanaian taxpayers are still going to have to pay you, even though the whole of today has been wasted. But of course, it's your constitutional right as well to embark on industrial action. Let's go over to Kumasi before we ask for the way forward. Prince Appiah has been speaking to the union chairman there. He's standing by live from the premises, the PURC premises there in Kumasi. Hello, Prince. Prince, if you can hear me, tell us what the update is in Kumasi. What's happening?
Yeah, Gifty, I must say that since morning, customers come around and they are told that they are not working, so they go back to wherever they came from. I should say that the officials of the Kumasi branch of the PURC are still on a sit-down strike, and they are not working, and that is what is happening now. They are worried. They want the situation to be rectified as soon as possible so that they can go back to work. For them, they need motivation, and if they need motivation, that will only come when Nana Jantua is not brought back and then the executive secretary is made to go away. Gifty.
But obviously, they don't have problems with their local leadership there, in terms of the managers of the office there in Kumasi. So if they are solidarizing with their counterparts in Accra, does it still warrant them not working? Is this a question they've answered?
Yeah, of course, they don't have any challenge or problems with the local leadership. But of course, this is in solidarity. For them, whatever happens in Accra affects those who are in Kumasi and other offices nationwide. So they definitely solidarize with those their colleagues in Accra, and they want the situation to be rectified. They know, and they've been telling me that during the time of Nana Jantua, the challenges were enormous, and since he left, it is getting better. But until the executive secretary decided to bring her back, they feel that those challenges that they were going through would come back again. So for them, they want the situation to be rectified, and that is Nana Jantua not coming back and executive secretary going off his position. Gifty.
Yeah, quick one, Prince, before I end this with you. You said that some people have come in. I'm sure they're coming to lodge one complaint or the other. What did they say when they realized that the office wasn't open for work?
Okay, so what happens is that at the regional office, those who have special complaints, according to the external affairs officer and the local union president chair, Prince Nanaya Kese, he tells me that they have decided to attend to all those with a special complaints, and there are cases that are ongoing cases that need some follow-ups, and all those cases they are attending to them. So most of those who came today are those with those kind of cases, and they were taken care of. But if you come and your case is something new, then of course they won't take care of you. But during the period that I have been with the regional office, those with new cases have not reported there. It was those with special cases and ongoing cases that have been there.
Right. Thank you very much, Prince. Prince, I'm sure I'll get back to you if there's any new development. Prince Appiah is with us at the station, Nashua FM in Kumasi, bringing us up to speed on what's happening. So you've seen what's happening. And very soon we'll go to the headquarters before we wrap up this conversation. What's the way forward?
The way forward is for the appointing authority to give us a new board, technical board. We emphasize on technical board because of the experiences that we are having currently. The board comes and sits, and they are not mindful of the fact that we are a sensitive regulator who regulates sensitive utilities or section. So we need a technical board. Then the second thing is that we will want the executive secretary to be asked to immediately move out and let us move forward, because we will need somebody who will be able to bring us together, not somebody who is dividing the whole house. He's been selective in his promotions. There are a lot of people who have not been promoted. And these are issues that we catalog in our petition to the Chief of Staff, which the Chief of Staff acknowledged that she has received, and they are acting on it, but very soon they will act.
Okay.
The very soon is what we are waiting on, and we can't entertain the board taking other drastic decisions that will affect staff again. That was the reason why we took this.
I'll come back to you. I have a few follow-ups for you, but Maxwell is ready at the moment. Maxwell. If you can hear me, tell us what's the latest at the premises of the PURC at the moment.
Well, Gifty, in the morning when we came here, we got information that there's supposed to be a board meeting that would happen here at the headquarters of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. That meeting was supposed to happen at exactly...
Okay, it appears we're having a few challenges there. Okay, let's have our conversation in the studio. Once we're able to establish a proper contact with Maxwell, we'll take what he has to report. So you're telling me about the fact that you want a new board and you want the current executive secretary to step aside. Now, what I want to understand is whether or not you want him to step aside, as in you want government to relieve him of his post, or you want him to step aside so that the investigations that the Chief of Staff refers to will continue.
In actual fact, we've never been pleased with his style of administration. He didn't come through even an appropriate method. He came acting before they got him appointed. And since his tenure, we have never made any gains. He reversed all the gains we made in the past because he is not experienced in terms of administration. He doesn't know how to manage human beings. The way they work is like, and that is the characteristics of what you just saw. Don't do this. If you do this, we will punish you. They intimidate you. They victimize people. They query people. At the point somebody received 7 queries within just a week. If
the person is doing something that requires queries, you expect that the queries will go to him. But one other question I'd like for you to address for me is whether or not what you're saying, all the allegations you're making against him, are backed by the investigations that the BNI came in to conduct. But please, let me take Maxwell before we get that answer. Maxwell.
Yes, Gifty.
Please go ahead with the point we're making.
Yes, Gifty. So we here, as you rightly mentioned, at the headquarters of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Now, in the morning when we came here, we had information that there was supposed to be a board meeting, and we were told that that board meeting is supposed to reinstate the former Director of Public Relations and External Affairs, Nanaya Jantua. But as it stands right now, the meeting, which was scheduled to take place at exactly 1 p.m., is not going to happen. We can confidently confirm that it's not going to happen here at the offices of the Public Utility Regulatory Commission, because as you can rightly see, this room is also inside this particular building, but that is locked, and you can see this red.
Sincere apologies for that technical hitch there. Technology does fail sometimes, doesn't it? Okay, so, but I do have the people right here in the studio, so it's not like you're missing out or anything. They're not working, they're here. So, so you were telling me about, the allegations that the union has against Mr. Sapong. Are these backed by, have you cited a report from the BNI?
In actual fact, no, and we have written severally to the Chief of Staff. We've written 4 letters, and the last reminder that we sent to her, she acknowledged receipt in actual fact almost 2 weeks ago, and promised that they were going to act as soon as possible. So we've not heard anything. But in between times, you see him take some decisions that are detrimental to staff. Look, after the BNI report, there was a recruitment that happened. I've never seen a place where you have internal applicants attending the same interview with external applicants. I don't know, maybe your organization.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Sometimes you have to do, in terms of growth, you have to solicit internally. If you don't get the appropriate expertise. Yes, that's why they both have to go for the interview. No, you have, if you
so that if you fail, I mean, if the person coming can do the work better, Why not? Or maybe it depends on what actually management at the time wanted. So I'm not sure we have that information at our disposal at the moment, do we?
But that will mean that you have also failed as management, because you will need to train your people at a way to develop, to grow, and fill in necessary, vacancies that you will need. Okay. Because you should have your plan. You should be able to know that from 5 years' time, this is what and what will need, and you identify people with potentials and develop them. Okay. So if you've not done that, and you think that you are even going to solicit, you should first of all deal with the internally. If you are not able to get the suitable person, then you go externally. Okay. But to bring them together means that you have failed as even a leader, to say. And somebody was employed, and I can say that the standards have been lowered because of Mr. Sapon.
I see. It's a very complicated situation, isn't it? But today's action was mainly because the meeting that was going to be held today, you believe, was supposed to reinstate Nanaya Jantua, who was the Public Affairs Director.
Prior to today's meeting, the day before yesterday, there was a committee meeting by the commissioners, and that was just to test the waters. Then
in your opinion?
In my opinion. And then yesterday, there was another meeting by stakeholder council. Before that, I had a call and an invitation by the Director of Finance and Admin. We had a lengthy discussion. So I spoke with my members, and at the end of the day, we agreed to remove all posters at the head office. Immediately the posters went down, the next 30 minutes, 1 hour, there was a meeting for which Nanaya came to be part. And according to my sources, she even organized that meeting. Then today they were supposed to have a board meeting. That means that after the process going down, they thought that everything was okay and they could go by their plans. So immediately that we got the information, we said, no, we can't allow this one to happen again. Okay. Because we are waiting for the Chief of Staff. We will not continuously allow him to be having his own way and doing things that will be detrimental to
Okay, okay. You've spoken about the way forward. I'll take your final words right after Western Region. Francis Waja is standing by. Hello, Francis.
Yeah, hi.
What can you report about the PURC in your region?
Well, in the Western Region, there are about 3 different rooms that constitute the offices of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Now, as I got there this morning around 9 a.m., one of these rooms or one of these offices was opened. The other 2 were locked. Now, the officer I met at the premise told me that they were obeying a simple directive from Accra, from their union, and that was to solidarize with whatever decision Accra had taken. And so although the office in which he was sitting was opened, there was no way they were rendering service to anyone. But the offices of the PURC in the region is not one that attracts the numbers, huge numbers on daily basis. So it was difficult to see people who would come around ordinarily, say, in an ECT office or any other office stranded. But for the period I was there for an hour or 2, they told me that they were not working, but no one walked in that was refused, gifted.
Okay, thank you very much, Francis, for that update. Let me take your final words. Now, your concerns are clear to me, and it's that you want a new technical board, you want a new executive secretary. Do you have a timeline?
Sometimes I find it very difficult to give appointing authorities timelines, but we think before the close of the week, we should be hearing something from the presidency.
We as Ghanaians who are paying you are worried about the timeline. So when you two, let me say, elephants are fighting, we the ground do not want to suffer because we are paying you.
We are just sending a signal, but maybe by...
Your signal is costing us. So we want to be sure when you're going to start working and when this thing is going to have to go on.
We've had lengthy discussions, and I think hopefully tomorrow they're about to open up. But we are not saying that we are ending the matter.
Okay, you're not ending the matter, but you're going to work tomorrow.
We'll adapt different strategy.
But you are working tomorrow.
We are working tomorrow.
You're working tomorrow.
Yes.
But so far, you've not heard any response, neither from the Chief of Staff, nor from any of the heads, any of your leaders, as in the management
directors.
Yeah, when the heat is on, you see them running. Nobody wants to come. They just leave the whole place that way, and that is a mark of irresponsibility. And that shows that he has lost control, he has lost grips over the organization. And the president should act appropriately.
Okay, so now it's become presidential now, hasn't it? Just so you know, by the way, President Akufo-Addo is at the International Conference Center on the SDGs. We'll bring you that story a bit in a bit. But let me take your final word.
All we're asking is we want a new board to be constituted.
Okay.
Mr. Samuel Sapon should just step aside for us to be able to work. This commission has never been well since he came. It's been 9 months now, and we have not done anything. He should just step aside for us to have progress.
Okay. Well, Mr. Sapon should just step aside for us to have progress. That's what the workers of the PURC are basically saying, that you can't work with him, basically.
No.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. He says that tomorrow they're working anyway. So if you have any complaints that you need to file at the PURC, be rest assured that you can walk into their premises tomorrow, and it will be open according to the union leaders, right?
Yeah.
It will be open. So our money won't be, I mean, we're not paying them for no work done. All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Pamela Brown is the union secretary for the PURC. Alhaji Jabaru Abukari is also the union chairman of the PURC. Thank you very much for coming once again.